This is a roast, motherfuckers. And in the words of Ram Dass, nut the fuck up, okay? This is a roast. All right, I'm roasting this community because I feel like we can take it, you know? I feel like we're strong enough, right? Yeah, fuck yeah. We're strong enough. I mean, look, fucking psychedelics are decriminalized here. We got 13,000 people at this conference, and we've learned a couple of things about roasts, okay? Who gets roasted? Presidents get roasted at the Correspondents' Dinner. Celebrities get roasted at the Friars Club. We've learned two things in society about roasts. Number one, if you get roasted, it means you made it. And number two, never make fun of Jada Pinkett Smith. The two things we learned about roasts. So yeah, roasts are important. So this is going to be a little bit less of a tune in, turn on, drop out, and a little bit more of a tear in, tell off, shoe out, you know? Because as the saying goes, you know, if you can't laugh at yourself, you probably bought oregano again. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, this conference, amazing, 13,000 fucking people. That's crazy. 13,000 beautiful faces. But here's the thing, of those 13,000, some of those people are, what is the psycho-spiritual word for it? Assholes. Yeah, assholes. If you don't believe me, if you can't conjure this in your mind, just remember the last integration circle you were in, and the guy who was first up takes 25 minutes to talk about how grandmother's spirit told him he should restart his podcast because he's a storyteller. If that's not vivid enough, you know, think about the woman who's just like, she's a beautiful soul who sees psychedelics as a way to open her heart and her mind. But if you took the vaccine, you're the Antichrist. And finally, we got a litany of other kinds of assholes. You know, we have the spiritual Instagram influencers. I think we all know the type. We have the Terrence McKenna reply guys. I don't know if anyone's run afoul of those people. Holy shit. We got the one-trip Insta shamans. And then finally, if none of these are working, there's always some asshole, some woman who wears too many shawls, whose name is something that may or may not be something like feather. Yeah, so you get the idea. There's a fuck ton of assholes. You know, we gotta take it. So yeah, a lot of psychedelic community. But you know what? I'm really impressed. I am really impressed by what MAPS has accomplished. So many people have fucking showed up for this conference. It's amazing. There's so much love. Give it up for MAPS, you know? Fucking yeah, MAPS. Love MAPS, bottom of my own. This is our Woodstock. If Woodstock had a fuck ton of PowerPoints and Wi-Fi issues. Yeah. The vibe here is interesting, right? It's sort of got all of the coolness of Angela Merkel and all of the academic respect of Joe Rogan. Yeah. Striking that balance. For those of you who have never been to a academic psychedelic conference, welcome. It's like other academic conferences, just with a lot more septum piercings, ear gauges, and weird dietary restrictions. So welcome. Also, for anybody who's never been to a MAPS conference, there's a local custom, like a way we greet each other. And it goes a little bit like this. Would you like to be on my podcast? That's how we say hello. So speaking of people who look like they have a podcast, you're probably wondering, who the fuck is this bitch? Thank you. I realize, yes, I'm not exempt from the roast. I realize I look like if Taylor Swift was a Jewish lesbian who failed DARE. Thank you. Got some fans. And I realize you're probably here to see Shane Mauss instead. So don't worry, you know, as Timothy Leary told his fifth wife, I won't keep you long. Just a little bit more to get through. Yeah, so I'm a psychedelic comedian. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you one thing it doesn't mean, common mistake. I do not write my best material while on psychedelics, okay? In preparation for this roast, actually, a couple of weeks ago, dropped MDMA, tried to write some jokes for a roast, and I'm gonna read one to you, okay? All right, here we go. A cop, a rabbi, and a priest walk into a bar. Just kidding, they are all the same guy because we are all connected. Not my best stuff. Not my best stuff. But yeah, no, I'm a psychedelic comedian. What does that mean? Well, it means I'm only funny when you're on psychedelics. Which means I might be killing with this crowd tonight. Just to open, call to the audience. Is anyone here tripping? Anyone else? Anyone on psychedelics? Any whoops on psychedelics? Hell yeah. I want to speak to the brave soul in the back. Thank you for your service. So I just took a lengthy Zendo workshop training, and so I know how to trip sit now. So I want to talk to the brave soul in the back, okay? Number one, I see you. Number two, everyone knows you're high and you're acting really weird. And finally, I think it's a good idea, definitely think it's a good idea to tell your girlfriend you want to be poly right now. And call your parents too, actually. You should call them. You should call them right now and tell them the good news. Yeah, that's what Zendo teaches you. Impulse, act on impulse. All right, let's see, more brave souls in the audience. Who here, just out of curiosity, has anyone here not tried a psychedelic at all? Any whoops? Oh, good for you. Good, you and you. So now we know where the narcs are. Great, thank you. Okay, good to know, plainclothes officers. Isn't it just adorable that in high school or when we were younger, we used to think that it was, if you asked a plainclothes officer, are you an undercover officer, they would have to tell you. I find that so sweet because the only people who would believe that are high. And it's sweet because they're confused because they actually have it reversed. Oversharing about yourself to a stranger is what people on drugs do. Yeah, but this crowd seems fun. You guys seem like a knowledgeable bunch, but for any of the novices in the audience, I thought I would end with a little bit of a PSA, a little bit of a translation, because sometimes we in the psychedelic community, we don't always say what we believe, or we don't always say, what we mean. Like, for example, a friend of mine told me recently he thinks that McDonald's is spiritual violence. Spiritual violence is our word for, I don't like that thing. Yeah, if you ever meet somebody who tells you you need to take an inner journey, that person just doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Then there's Reiki. Reiki is our word for not massage. It's a not massage. If anyone ever tells you, I'm going to meditate on that, it means I've already forgotten what you said. And if anyone says they believe in communal healing, that means I'm not paying my share of the rent this month. Let's see, integration. Integration is our term for unfun after party. If anyone talks at length to you about somatic healing, that person wants to have sex with you. Yeah, and finally, if anyone refers to themselves as a psychedelic comedian, it means they're unemployable. Thank you, guys. I have been Jewish lesbian Taylor Swift. Wow, that was really spiritual. A lot has changed in the past 29 minutes. Some of you knew me as a comedian, a joke teller, a teller of jokes, a soothsayer, a sayer of sooths. But a lot has changed in the past 29 minutes. I know so much more than I did 2.5 TED Talks ago. I have Googled spirituality twice, and I have so much I want to share. Yes, I have experienced one almost entire podcast with Deepak Chopra. And I have so much spirituality I want to share. Couple of things, I guess, for my Google wisdom. Number one, I want to greet you with an ancient Sanskrit greeting. It means I bow to you. It goes like this. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste to you all. I also want to reintroduce myself. I was formerly Sarah Rose Siskind, but I've gone away with my shadow self. I'm no longer Sarah. I am Soraya. But I've chosen to honor my previous self by keeping the first part of my last name. So I am now Soraya Sis. And I hope you shall all get to know psoriasis very well and have psoriasis inside of you. I want to thank my teachers, Grandfather Ferris and Grandmother Gwyneth. Yes, thank you for your teachings. I thought, at this stage in the show, it'd be good to integrate a little bit. And so I thought it would actually be good if we introduced ourselves to each other. So I thought it would be good if each person could share their first name, their last name, their earliest trauma, everything they know about their grandfather. And I thought we could go around twice, just to make sure we don't forget anything. So, let's start with you, sir. And this is boring, actually. I realize it's going to take too long. Yeah, the thing is we don't care anymore, John. It's going to take too long, yeah. So actually, you know what? I want to try something different John's got a lot to say. Wait, save it for the podcast, John. Oh, your grandfather was smuggled into Vietnam. That's a lot for you to talk about with your shaman there, John. Anyway, spirituality. So I thought I would recenter things with actually a holotropic breathwork session. Has anyone ever tried holotropic breathwork? You did it all wrong. You're wrong. This is the way to do it. Okay, so everybody, if you wouldn't mind gathering yourself in the seat, okay, closing your eyes, okay? Let's close your eyes. Let's breathe in. And then breathe out. And then breathe in, and then breathe out, and then breathe in, and then breathe out, and then breathe in, and then hold. Okay, and then in a second, I want you to hold. I don't hear you guys holding. And then finally, we're going to hold. And then hold. Hold. And we're done. Great job. I can feel the DMT flowing in the crowd. I did such a good job with the holotropic breathwork. All right, for the last thing, I have a little treat for you. I've decided, since I'm now a healer, that before I introduce the last act, I'm going to do a guided meditation. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to give you a brief cacao ceremony. Be very brief at the end, so you have that to look forward to. Little cacao. But first, let's settle in for a little guided meditation, okay? So once again, I want you to center yourself in your seat. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to breathe in and breathe out. And now I want you to imagine a face. It's a smiling face. It's a man. His name is Richard. But he goes by Rick. And his last name is Doblin. He's smiling at you. Remember, you're visualizing in the guided meditation space. Rick is smiling at you. And he tells you he's always thought of you as his closest friend. And as he takes your hand, you can feel the sexual tension. And as you feel his wet, hot breath against your cheek, you pull away and you see that you are Rick Doblin. Rick Doblin is you, and you are Rick Doblin, and I want you to open your eyes. I want you to be the Rick Doblin you want to see in the world, and I want you to let your inner Rick shine. Thank you, everybody.